In an alternate Earth, plagues caused by alchemists' genetic experiments are killing millions. One plague creates beings called vampires, who are not supernatural, but an improved version of humanity. These brothers are born from human mothers when a specific virus interacts with a genetic mutation. They use science to fight the plagues and offer spiritual guidance through the church. Brothers drink only donated blood, live disciplined lives as priests, and are raised by the church from birth. However, recently, fewer brothers are being born, and all have been males so far. One day, young Silus meets his newborn brother Edgar, who won't stop crying. Brother Augustus tells Silus that he must guide Edgar as they grow because they share the same mother. 100 years later, adult Silus uses his super hearing in the slums to track a crime. He hears blood dripping and follows a metallic noise to find Edgar escaping through a window. Silus tries to shoot him, but Edgar dodges and escapes over the rooftops. The next day, Silus shares a drink with Augustus and suggests teaming up with the human police to catch Edgar. Augustus refuses, admitting he's been covering up Edgar's murders to prevent a panic and maintain trust in the Brotherhood. If the truth comes out, people will treat the brothers as monsters again. In the poor neighborhood of Jamestown, there's a shortage of free government influenza vaccines because criminals steal them for the black market. Captain Lily, who lost her husband and daughter to influenza, works hard with Detective Jones to catch the illegal sellers. Today, they burst into an apartment building and arrest the landlord. He claims he's been giving out vaccines to his tenants, but in a creepy basement, they find dozens of sick people. Jones gets aggressive, but Lily finds the hidden vaccines under a carpet. Annoyed, Lily punches the landlord when he keeps asking for a lawyer. The next day, a street kid hears a woman scream for help. In an alley, he sees Edgar feeding on a human. Edgar escapes when he sees the kid climbing walls and jumping on roofs. A man finds the kid and accuses him of the murder, but the kid insists it was a brother. The police arrive, and a reporter questions Lily about rumors of a brother being the murderer. Lily tells the officers to arrest the reporter. They check the victim and confirm the wound is a bite. Lily talks to the kid to verify his story, and instructs her team to keep the news about the evil brother quiet to avoid panic. Silus watches from afar. Lily tells Chief Anderson she's quarantined the neighborhood, and people think there's a new influenza outbreak. Anderson warns they can only hold the reporter for 2 days, so they need to solve the case quickly. He surprises Lily by revealing that the Brotherhood is sending a brother to help with the investigation. Silus arrives at the station, treated like a celebrity. He gives Lily a file on Edgar while discreetly observing her every move with his supervision. Lily is furious that the Brotherhood has been covering up crimes, criticizing the church's privileges and lack of punishment. She assembles a team of detectives, asks them to keep the secret, and introduces them to Silus. Silus presents information on Edgar, explaining that Edgar was a respected scientist who created the latest influenza vaccine until 3 weeks ago. Edgar's 3 victims are women in their early 20s, with no other connection. Silus reveals that Edgar treats this as a game and has sent a recording, stating his next victim will be taken from Bridge Square. The team splits into smaller groups to patrol the area, and Silus uses his supervision from a rooftop. Meanwhile, Edgar sneaks into a building through the vents, finds a woman he likes, and tries to break in. When the vent cover is stuck, he goes to the neighboring apartment and waits for the male tenant to leave the room. 2 cops patrolling a building hear violent noises and alert the team. Silus sees blood splashing on a window. Lily and the team enter the building and find the 2 cops dead. They kick down a door to find the male tenant dead too. While searching the floor, Edgar surprises Lily, pushes her into an empty room, and starts feeding on her. Jones notices Lily is missing and finds her, causing Edgar to escape through the vents before killing her. Silus arrives and offers some of his blood to help Lily survive. Once she's stable, Silus follows Edgar through the ventilation shaft using his super hearing. An angry Jones shoots at the vents, forcing Edgar out. Edgar runs down the corridor and hides in the attic, but Silus jumps on him, pushing him through the floor. Jones shows up and shoots, wounding Edgar's cheek, causing him to run again. Silus then shoots a tranquilizer, hitting Edgar and causing his head to break through the wall. Jones wants to kill Edgar, but Silus stops him, and Edgar is taken to the church. The next day, Lily is in the hospital, haunted by visions of Edgar. Silus visits her, and they share a sweet moment. On his way out, Silus meets Jones, who shows him a newspaper with a cover-up story, claiming the killer had delusions of being a brother and is now dead. At the church, Silus meets with Augustus and Dr. Liepsky, who is keeping Edgar in painful restraints because he decapitated a guard while sedated. Liepsky believes Edgar is infected, not insane. He shows Silus an insane woman tied to a bed who tries to attack when he gets close. Edgar was secretly experimenting with a new virus, despite it being illegal. Because no new brothers have been born in 70 years and never a female, the Brotherhood allowed Edgar to try to genetically control the birth of more brothers. Edgar succeeded in transforming women in a secret ward, but the virus changed. Now, most test subjects are dead, and the survivors don't have much time left. Edgar is infected with a virus that's slowly decaying his brain, making him the first brother to face death. Silus visits Edgar and sees the restraints causing him to bleed. Edgar wants to kill Lily and mocks Silus for falling in love, which brothers aren't supposed to do. Later, Jones and Lily raid a house to stop a dangerous operation. As the cops make arrests, Lily finds girls who are about to be sold. On her way out, she feels watched but doesn't see Silus, who vanishes. At the church, Edgar is freed from restraints but locked in a metal chamber. He repeatedly runs at the window, trying to crack it. When Silus is interviewed on TV, Edgar learns through the speakers that his brother will be made cardinal in a special ceremony. A few hours later, Liepsky is called to check on Edgar, who has killed the guard sent to gas him. Edgar had pretended to be unconscious. After studying the building's map, Edgar breaks through the window, kills the other guard, and corners Liepsky, forcing him to drink his blood before kicking him to death. More guards arrive, but Edgar kills them all in seconds, and also kills the receptionist at the front desk. Meanwhile, Silus is made cardinal in a ceremony involving a blood offering with a sword. He quickly returns to find the massacre left by Edgar. The next day, Detective Kelly hears a woman crying for help. She surprises Freddy, who is threatening the woman with her gun. Edgar then jumps on Kelly, knocks her out, and reveals the trap was meant for Lily, but Freddy mistook Kelly for her. Edgar feeds Kelly some of his blood, and Freddy asks for some too, enjoying the visions it causes. Jones informs Lily about Kelly's kidnapping, while Silus watches over her at her apartment. The team argues on how to proceed, and Lily volunteers to be bait. Meanwhile, Freddy drains Kelly's blood, and Edgar uses his super senses from the roof to find Lily. In the middle of the night, Silus, watching Lily sleep, dreams of kissing her hand, but wakes up when he hears Jones. Sensing Edgar in the apartment below, Silus leaves to find him. Lily notices movement behind another window and goes to check it out with Jones. They break down the door, and Edgar smashes through a window to drag Lily out. Edgar holds Lily against the wall, ready for revenge, but Silus shows up and threatens him with a gun. Edgar drops Lily to attack Silus, who falls and faints after being kicked by Edgar. When Silus wakes up, Edgar and Lily are gone. Back at the hideout, Freddy and Kelly feel very sick. Annoyed by Freddy's protest, Edgar kills him by removing his heart. Edgar then places Kelly in the street with a note saying, "Everything flows from me. My blood will change the world." Stephanie is found and taken to the hospital, where she behaves violently. More cases appear rapidly, indicating Edgar is spreading his virus. Within hours, the hospital is full of insane, dying women. Unable to keep it secret, authorities announce a new plague, quarantining Jamestown and instituting martial law, with curfews enforced by shooting violators. Meanwhile, Lily is handcuffed in the hideout. Edgar reveals he wants to force Silus to drink from her. A crowd gathers outside the church, demanding a solution. Silus wants to find Edgar, but Augustus forbids it, revealing that the government and Brotherhood plan to evacuate areas around the quarantine zone and burn down the slums to eliminate Edgar and the infection. Refusing to lose innocent lives and Lily, Silus breaks the rules and visits Jones, who is dismissive. Silus grabs him by the neck, explaining he wants to help. Hearing the water in Joan's sink, he recalls Edgar's mention of flowing and realizes Edgar is contaminating the water supply with his blood. Silus tells Jones to inform the press about the contaminated water and the Brotherhood's plan. Silus sneaks past the soldiers by breaking through a building's window. On the streets, he meets a dedicated brother tending the dead who shows him something important. Silus arrives at the water supply, and Edgar leaves Lily alone to confront him. Lily, noticing a loose pipe, starts kicking the wall to make noise, alerting Silus. However, he follows a female shadow instead. Desperate, Lily kicks the door open and yells for Silus. Realizing he's been following an infected woman, Silus is attacked by Edgar from behind. They both fall from a platform, hitting pipes before landing on the floor. The infected woman hears Lily and tries to enter to feed on her. Lily kicks the door to keep her out, but the woman breaks in and starts pulling Lily down, causing the pipe to break. Lily slides the handcuffs down to free herself. When the woman attacks, Lily chokes her to death with the handcuffs. Edgar tries to force Silus to drink his blood, but Silus wakes up and tries to shoot him. Edgar kicks the gun away, and they fight, with Silus repeatedly asking about Lily. Despite Edgar's attempts to attack, his sick body is too slow, and Silus easily overpowers him. Edgar begs for mercy to buy time, then kicks Silus and impales him on 2 steam rods. Injured but alive, Silus falls to the ground. Edgar threatens to burn his face with steam, but Lily stabs Edgar in the brain with another steam rod, killing him. On their way out, Silus kisses Lily and shows her what the other brother was guarding. An infected woman has given birth to the first female vampire. Lily agrees to leave with the baby to keep her secret and protect her from the Brotherhood. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.